Have you ever seen a soldier salute with his left hand? Only two men in the entire history of the Vietnamese People's Army were ever allowed to do so. It wasn't an honor. It was the price of unimaginable sacrifice. At just 18 years old, during the Battle of Dong Khe, his right arm was torn apart by enemy fire. Most soldiers would have fallen back. He refused. Instead, he looked at his comrades and calmly made a request that left them speechless. "Cut off my arm so I can keep fighting." Those words would become one of the most extraordinary moments in Vietnam's military history. His name was La Van Cau. This is the incredible story of the man who chose duty over his own arm. Born in 1932, deep in the mountains of Cao Bang province, La Van Cau entered a world where survival was never guaranteed. He belonged to the Tay ethnic minority. His family owned almost nothing. Hunger was part of everyday life. His father was forced into hard labor by the French colonial authorities. He never truly recovered. Soon afterward, he died. The family fell even deeper into poverty. His mother struggled every single day to keep her children alive. Some days, there was almost nothing to eat. The children gathered firewood, worked in the fields, and searched the forest for anything that could become food. School was only a distant dream. Without money, he was turned away. Sometimes he was even beaten simply because he was poor. Years later, he would remember those days with one unforgettable sentence. Before the revolution, life was harder than death. But suffering did not break him. It forged something stronger, a quiet determination. In 1948, when he was only 16 years old, he heard that volunteers were being recruited to join the resistance. The recruiting officer looked at the skinny teenager and shook his head. "You're too young." But he refused to walk away. Without hesitation, he replied, "I'm 18. I can carry a plow." It was a lie, a small one, but it came from a heart that could no longer watch his country suffer. That decision changed the course of his life, and soon it would help change the history of Vietnam.
September 1950. The border campaign had begun. To break the French defensive line along Vietnam's northern frontier, the Viet Minh had to capture Dong Khe. It was not just an outpost, it was the key to Route Coloniale 4. Ahead of them stood barbed wire, concrete bunkers, machine guns, artillery, and the heavy fire of French forces. In that battle, La Van Cau was given one of the most dangerous missions: carry the explosive charge, break through the wire, destroy the bunker, and open the path for the assault force. Everyone knew the demolition soldier was often the one who walked closest to death. But La Van Cau did not step back. On the night of September 16, 1950, rain fell over the battlefield of Dong Khe. The assault began. French machine guns swept across the battlefield. Comrades fell one after another. La Van Cau kept moving forward with the explosives in his arms. Then enemy bullets struck him. One tore through his cheek. His right arm was badly wounded. Blood covered his uniform. He fell. But the mission was not finished. When he regained consciousness, his right arm could no longer obey him. It hung uselessly, caught in the barbed wire. Every movement brought unbearable pain, but ahead of him was still the enemy bunker. Behind him were still his comrades, waiting for the path to open. La Van Cau turned to his squad leader and spoke the words that would enter history. "Cut off my arm." His comrade froze. No one could bear to do it. but La Van Cau urged him on, because he understood if they lost even one more minute, the mission could fail. The axe came down. His right arm remained on the battlefield of Dong Khe, but La Van Cau, with only his left arm, continued forward with the explosive charge. A great explosion echoed through the night. The enemy bunker was destroyed. The path was open. The assault force surged forward. He left one arm at Dong Khe, but he opened the road to victory for his comrades. The story of Dong Khe spread quickly through the ranks. The young soldier who had lost an arm, yet continued to fight, became a symbol of a will that would not retreat. La Van Cau survived, but after that battle, his body would never be whole again. His right arm remained on the battlefield, and the wound he carried became a living mark of a nation at war. In May 1952, La Van Cau was honored as one of the outstanding soldiers to receive the title of Hero of the People's Armed Forces. From a poor boy in the mountains of Cao Bang, who had never been allowed to go to school, who had once been rejected for being too small, La Van Cau became one of the earliest symbols of revolutionary heroism in Vietnam. But what made him truly remarkable was not only his battlefield courage, it was the humility he carried after the glory. After the war, La Van Cau continued to serve in the army. He became a colonel, a national hero, a wounded veteran for the rest of his life. But in everyday life, he never lived as a man surrounded by glory. People remembered him as simple, gentle, close to ordinary people. An old man with one arm, quietly sweeping the alley near his home, doing small things for the community. He once said, "If something benefits the community, I will do it. If it does not, even if it is as small as a strand of hair, I will not." It was not a loud statement, but it was the way he lived. At Dong Khe, he used his own body to open the path for his comrades. In peace, he used the small acts of everyday life to remain useful to the people. A true hero does not always need to stand in the spotlight. Sometimes, greatness is found in the quietest acts. On June 24, 2026, Colonel and People's Armed Forces hero La Van Cau completed his life's journey at the age of 94. One of the last great symbols of the generation of heroes from the war against French colonialism had quietly passed into history. It was not only the passing of one soldier. It felt as if an entire generation, one that had walked through fire and war, was slowly closing its final chapter. In the days that followed, at the National Funeral Hall on Tran Ton Tong Street in Hanoi, comrades, veterans, ordinary citizens, and younger generations came to pay their final respects. There were no gunshots, no explosions, no trenches at Dong Khe, only lines of silent people, military salutes, tearful eyes, wreaths of flowers, and a nation bowing its head before a soldier who had given his youth to his homeland. Some had known him in life. Some knew him only from history books. Some were children who had never heard the sound of war. But that day, they all came for the same reason: gratitude. Because the peace they live in today did not come by chance. It was paid for with blood, with youth, with parts of the body that never returned, and with people like La Van Cau. He left one arm at Dong Khe, but what he left for his country was far greater. An example of courage, a lesson in sacrifice, and a life given completely to Vietnam. One arm was left behind at Dong Khe, but his courage lives on. Join us on Vietnam in 60 Seconds, where the true stories of Vietnam continue to live.